Yo, what up, nerds? It's the weekend, and of course, that means it's time for a brand new anime streaming showcase. If you don't know already, this show is about anime that is streaming upon various sites, sources, what have you. And I say if you should go watch it or avoid it, or what I think of it, blah, 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 blah. It's just another fucking YouTube show of opinions. That's it. It's nothing special, nothing great. Bare bones productions. But anyway, this week we're going to look at a series that is probably immediately in one of my top fives, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Actually, a show that's almost 10 years old, a couple years shy of being the 10-year anniversary, but we're going to look at it and explore it, and I'm going to talk good things about it because it is one of my favorite shows, and it's instantly recommendable to just about anyone. So let's just hop right into it, all right? Remakes, remasters, retreads, whatever you like to call them or classify them as, despite all three being completely separate ideas, they are a common occurrence in the industry. Whatever the justification there may be for doing so, you can bet on a popular series, film franchise, song or album, etc. to get another version 5, 10, 20 years down the line. It's usually just good business, and it's a great way to hook in a new audience as well as the older audience, though usually the older audience can be curmudgeonly towards the newer creation. Oftentimes, though, the new creation is quite exceptional and arguably better than the original, usually because it adapts the full, complete story versus an anime-only ending, and so the old has to then make way for the new. Now, that doesn't make the old obsolete, and it's never washed away from history, so people are more than welcome to enjoy it still, as well as compare and contrast with the new. Usually they still cling to their old version, and they say the new doesn't have the same heart as the original, or it's too rushed, or the art was better and it still holds up well versus the new. Again, fair criticisms, but it's still ultimately opinion, and my opinion is thus. When it comes to anime and deciding on which is more worth your time, as this show is mostly dedicated to, I think sticking with the canonical ending is usually best. I am not outright stating that any and all anime-only ending series aren't good or worthwhile or anything like that. I'm simply stating that numerous for entertainment purposes, when wanting to get the most from a series, it's usually best to go with a series that's canonically complete versus anything else. That long rant aside, it does actually lead to something, so thanks for hanging in there, as this episode is focused on the 2009-2010 remake of Fullmetal Alchemist, entitled Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, presented by the ever-glorious Studio Bones. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, or Brotherhood as it will simply be referenced to going forward, is the quintessential complete tell of the Fullmetal Alchemist story, next to the manga, of course. And personally, it's an instant top 5 series for me, as I think it's simply a true treasure. Adapted from Harakawa Hiromu's hit manga, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood was the second series in the Fullmetal Alchemist name, but the first to follow the manga to the end. Way back in 2003, we received an anime adaptation that unfortunately was too close in production to the source material and thus was required to think of its own ending, at Arakawa's request, that was still satisfying yet not official, at least not once the manga and new anime ended. Brotherhood is far more faithful to the source material, and while the 2003 series was enrapturing so many years ago, it's a bit more difficult to recommend. With Brotherhood, the anime was adapted later, once more content was established in the manga and an ending was in mind by Arakawa. The two series actually wrapped up within about a month of each other, with the manga finale in June 2010 and the anime ending in July 2010. The story of Fullmetal Alchemist focuses on the Elric brothers, Alphonse and Edward, two kids in a pseudo-European land who are traveling the world honing their alchemic abilities. Alchemy is an accepted science in the world of Brotherhood, and it can create some remarkable things. It can do tasks like repairing broken items or being used medicinally, but it can also be used for warfare and even more unethical means. In the idea of alchemy, there is something known as the Philosopher's Stone, and with this legendary substance you can essentially obtain anything you want. More often than not in fictional works, it's used for immortality, but the Elrics are thinking a bit smaller, as they are aiming to return to their normal, full-fleshed bodies. The reason they are doing so is because when they were younger, having lost their mother and their father nowhere to be found, after becoming knowledgeable with alchemy and its uses, they wanted to raise their mother from the dead. Unfortunately for the Elric boys, this is a big taboo in the alchemic world, and they nearly lose their lives in the process. Edward loses his leg, and Alphonse loses his entire body, but through quick thinking Ed, he's able to sacrifice an arm and is able to soul-bound Alphonse's soul to a set of armor with a blood seal. The two kids' lives are changed dramatically, but they are determined to return their lives to normalcy with the help of the Philosopher's Stone. The Rockbells, a neighboring family of the Elrics, essentially become the adoptive family who take care of them, and they have a daughter named Wendry, who is handy with prosthetics and able to graft a fake arm and leg for Ed to assist in their journey. Not to spoil too much, as that all really is explained in the second episode, this sets in motion and eventually bleeds into an entire government and various other ne'er-do-wells that the Elrics come across in their journey. The story of Brotherhood isn't exactly a new tale, it's a more refreshing take on the journey and redemption arcs we've seen before. But what elevates Brotherhood over so many other anime is its everlasting appeal and storytelling. The Elrics aren't flawless figures. They're tragic and they're from a broken home, but they're also a tad selfish and naive as they are still children and teenagers through most of the series. They often rush in before fully analyzing a situation, creating more chaos than solution, but they grow and they learn from these errors and they ultimately come away stronger for it. That's particularly one thing that I generally enjoy about a lot of seinen demographic series. The hero may not always win. Sure, in the very end, they often come out on top, but while they win the war, they may still lose some battles to get there. Many other series I watch and enjoy often have the protagonist winning against any and all odds because of feelings or emotions winning them over. Sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes you simply have to get beaten and live another day to get stronger and develop as a character or as a person. The boys are never down for too long, however, as their journey is an ongoing adventure. The plot in Brotherhood is always pushing forward, but it's not stuffed with too much, and it's never also glazing over too much too soon. There's always forward motion moving a plot along. Well, save for one recap episode that's about nearly halfway through the series. Next to filler, recap episodes are my least favorite anime trope, but they're far more important and poignant when compared to filler episodes, and Brotherhood actually handles it in a unique way. Presented in a campfire reminiscence, the story thus far is retold, hitting all the important beats along the way. Considering how much actually happened up to that point of the series, it was a nice break and reminder of how it all got where it did. The single annoyance, despite its unique spin, aside. Brotherhood likes to focus on many varying themes in addition to the alchemic approach, themes ranging from religious to cultural differences, discrimination, political and militaristic greed. But my favorite theme explored throughout Brotherhood is the idea of equivalent exchange. The idea is such that it's not a foreign concept. It's actually an applied idea in modern science and thermodynamics. Tit for tat. Something from nothing. Equal and opposite reaction. It's almost karmic in that idea. You must always have a balance and an equal distribution of give and take. You cannot pull food, money, or goods, anything, without a source. Everything is cyclical in the terms of production. You plant a seed, the seed grows, it produces a good, the good harvests more seeds to propagate further, and so on and so on and so on. The idea isn't an acute premise, it's a fairly familiar idea that's applicable in modern times. Its principles and themes are throughout Brotherhood, and one of the strongest lessons to take away from Araka's story. Additionally, the idea of religion is certainly welcome too, as it's critical but understanding, scathing but important. One of my favorite lines from the entire series comes nearly halfway through the series run. Open your eyes. God is nothing more than a construct created by man to inspire fear and promote order. Now, I know that sounds like an edgelord, fedora-wearing, atheist's wet dream, but in the context of the scene and the character, it's so powerfully cool. I'm personally not a religious person in any form, but I can appreciate the philosophical murmuring from Arakara not against religion. She's also for it. She's just not preaching against religion, she's simply showcasing different ideologies, and it's a refresher to me. In terms of presentation and delivery, Brotherhood is as beautiful as its story is memorable. The attention to detail Arakawa already devoted to the manga transferred terrifically to the anime, and Studio Bones added enough visual flair to elevate Brotherhood to a level that hadn't really been seen at that time. There are numerous small touches applied to such minor scenes or details scattered amongst the background that make the world feel more alive through these small touches. There is this level of texturing applied to the colors and the world that help present a more detailed landscape. Additionally, the fights throughout are incredibly fluid, they feel impactful, and while they are an insurance company nightmare in terms of collateral damage, they are also a beautiful sight to behold. Playing into the idea of equivalent exchange and alchemic principles that have been laid out, battles are often more cerebral than power level based. A physically strong alchemist can be destroyed if they're out of their element and they're outskilled. Buildings and lands will be ripped up from the ground as weapons and rubble become tools to overcome the odds. Perhaps in scale, the laws of equivalent exchange are cheated a bit to allow such grandiose battles, but in terms of how awesome it looks in emotion and in the end, I'll forgive it. Lastly, Brotherhood might very well be one of, if not the best anime dubbing jobs to date. It is of course provided by the fantastic team at Funimation, and it includes most of the returning cast from the first series in 2003, but Alphonse's voice actor is new because the original actor grew too old for the part. The new voice actor plays the part well though, so unless you're simply a stickler against change, hardly anything will be different in that department. Of course, I did watch this initially subbed many years ago and enjoyed it as well, but I have since stuck to the dubbing option as I think it's absolutely aces. On the soundtrack side, we receive a great militaristic sound with drums pounding, horns blaring, violins screeching as the journey moves ever onward. Sprightly songs perk up the respective scenes, while brooding moments are masked in a dark, dreary, bass-driven accompaniment. Everything inside of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood simply clicks, and it creates an instantly memorable and near-perfect series for just about anyone. Due to its length at 64 episodes, it is a considerable effort and amount of time to devote to one series, but it's also an insanely easy series to binge. Episodes flow from one to the next with little repetition, and aside from a couple of arcs in the middle, as important and terrific as they are, there's just a little lull in Brotherhood. These particular arcs are more dialogue driven and a much needed break from the constant action, so don't expect a full-fledged all action all the time show in Brotherhood. The who, where, what, why, when, and how does all need its time to shine, as well as the comedic bits thrown in to alleviate some of the dreariness also. If you're up for a mature, plot-driven action show with a stellar cast that's not too time-consuming by comparison, consider Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. As I've mentioned before, Brotherhood stands atop a massive pile of anime along with shows like Hunter x Hunter or Cowboy Bebop as true gems of the industry. Its polish and its talents show immediately from the first second and only stop once the final credits start rolling. Do make time for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and experience not only one of my personal favorites, but a highly recommended series by many other anime fans too. I truly understand how futile in terms of legitimacy crowd ratings are with sites like MyAnimeList, Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes, but Brotherhood is one of the top rated shows in MyAnimeList and has been for many years, even with nearly 10 years under its belt. Fullmetal Alchemist is still bringing me back just about every year to re-experience what it has to offer. It's never dull. It's never boring. It's always a welcoming, entertaining, and important show. Of course, you may find it streaming through Crunchyroll and Hulu, both offering the subbed and dubbed option, which is a rarity for Crunchyroll. So get on it already. There we have it. A brand new anime streaming showcase created just for you. I hope you like my pores. It was a blast writing about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I just barely touched on the subject. There's so much more to go into this show about, but I don't want to bore you for too long, and I barely have enough time to write as it is. Anyway, I kind of have to sneak it in when I get a chance, but sincerely, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is top 5 show for me. Like I said, it's up there with Cowboy Bebop, Hunter x Hunter. It's so fantastic. There's so much to enjoy about this show. It's just, if someone says, I have time to watch one show, or what is a show for a beginner, or just give me an anime to watch, this, without even having to think about it, this is just boom, right there. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Go get it. Go watch it. Go enjoy it. It's exceptional. It was a gem from the start, and it's a gem to the end, and it's so great. I definitely recommend it wholeheartedly. And if you've got some time over the Thanksgiving break, if you're not playing video games or anything like that, which you probably will be, or you're spending time with your family, which that's totally good too. But if you do have the time on extended weekends or anything like that, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is always there for you, and you should enjoy it if you can. I think you will. If you're a big stupid nerd like me, you probably will like it. Anyway, speaking of video games, it's Thanksgiving. That means Black Friday is a thing because we're a capitalist fucking consumerist society, I guess. I don't know. I reap the benefits of it, and I hate myself. I'm a giant hypocrite. But definitely just buy some cheap shit. It's going to be so dirt cheap. It's not even going to be funny. And I hope you get anything that you're wanting, and I hope you can buy what you need. Of course, check out my sponsor, Green Man Gaming. As always, they have a lot of stuff going on, and I know they will have a lot of stuff going on for Black Friday. So check them out as well. Currently, they have Okami, which just launched on PC for $16. So you can find that in the description below. Go check that game out. I don't like that it's been released like a billion times, but that is a good game. I think it's about 10 hours too long, but it's a great game. And of course, always to the Laser Time Dummies. They give me an outlet to, in addition to YouTube, pump this stuff into their terrific network, and I couldn't be happier to be working with those guys. So thank you as always. It's the holidays, so that means that I won't be around doing this as much as I would like, because time constraints will pull me. Otherwise, I will try and continue doing this as much as I can during the holidays, but I may get sidetracked and unable to do some things. Anyway, I'm going to work really hard to try and do them. We're coming up on a year anniversary of this dumb show, and I'm super excited for that. I might do like a best of. I don't know exactly what I do, or I'll probably just be really lazy and just do a new episode and forget about it and just say, hey, I don't know yet. Anyway, I will not be here next week because of Thanksgiving. That's why I'm giving you this episode. It's a little bit longer than I usually go, but I hope you have a great holiday. If you celebrate it, it's a racist holiday. Don't celebrate it. I will see you next time, the next week, post-Thanksgiving weekend, post-Black Friday. In December. I will see you in December with a brand new Anime Streaming Showcase. So, as always, take care. Love you, nerds. And I will see you later, dummies. Bye. Hey, bud. You're in my shot. What's up? What's up, buddy? You're in my shot, aren't you? What's up? What's up, buddy? You're in my shot. You see, you're on camera. What's up? I love you too. Okay, I gotta do some work, okay? Come lay down. Come lay down. Come lay down.